So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome here. This is a great place to be today. And I'm delighted to be here in Cape May, one of the top 3 sites for birding in North America, right here in beautiful New Jersey. And a renowned location for tourists, bird watchers, and photographers across the country to gather for the incredible migration of the red knot. Today we're going to hear about the exciting work being done to save the horseshoe crab and the red knot, 2 species that are on the brink of becoming endangered. Through the collaborative efforts of Revive and Restore, New Jersey Audubon, and Eli Lilly, a solution has been developed that will impact both populations positively. This significant advancement is critical to our diverse Jersey Shore ecosystem and its $44 billion tourism industry it helps support.
It really takes a vibrant coalition to work on bringing species back from extinction and recovering the Delaware Bay. As we've talked about, the Delaware Bay is one of the top 5 most important places on this planet for shorebirds. This is our Serengeti. When you think about migration, it's a gamble, right? I just spent last night in Atlantic City. Didn't gamble, but this one was a safe gamble. So if you think about shorebirds that are breaking down their fat, their own muscle tissue, and their organs, they're relying on this superabundance of food. If anyone has seen the independent film Super Size Me, if all you eat is Big Macs, you're going to turn out to be a pretty beefy fellow or a woman in a short amount of time. Well, these shorebirds would land here emaciated, and in 10 to 14 days, they would double their body weight, just gorging on this fat-rich food content, horseshoe crab eggs. And it was safe. That was a safe gamble, and Dr. Larry Niles and Dr. Mizrahi have researched this. Until a tractor-trailer started showing up in the 90s. And they would fill up every available horseshoe crab on the beach. They would fill those. I was working for Larry at the time. They'd fill up these tractor-trailers and just haul them. They'd haul them to Maine. They'd haul them anywhere they could, by the millions. And then it's like Rachel Carson, right? The Silent Spring. Horseshoe crabs are all gone. The eggs are no longer coating the beach. And the shorebird populations plummet. There's 6 species of shorebirds that rely on the superabundance of these eggs. And the red knot is the tip of the spear.
I'd like to skip to the chase here for 1 second, which is just to say the big headline news here is that the pharmaceutical industry can actually replace probably up to 90% of the use of horseshoe crab blood without incurring any major regulatory change. Go to slide 2 for a second, because of all the slides that we've shown here today, we have not really showed the crabs being bled. We've referred to them, and I just want everyone to imagine what it's like to be using wild animals to extract a wild animal product that we don't need to be harnessing. So imprint that, because I want to segue from the bleeding of these crabs to the woman who invented it. So while I was at the University of Singapore giving a lecture, I reached out to Professor Lin Ding. And I called Lynn and I said, I'm right here in your backyard. I would really like to meet you and hear your story. Her name is really never hardly used with the horseshoe crab. She and her now husband, Professor Bo, cloned the unique factor of the horseshoe crab blood and created and patented RFC, which stands for recombinant factor C. I'm going to just refer to it as RFC. I was really moved by her story. They did it as scientists because they wanted to see the price drop down for scientific research, and they wanted to replace the use of those horseshoe crabs. Internationally, in Singapore and in Asia, there are 3 species of horseshoe crabs that are at great risk. I listened to her story, and it just didn't make sense. She said they patented it in the late 1990s. It was under exclusivity, and in 2003 it went commercial, but it languished on the market. I said, why? I thought, well, this is a good use of Revive and Restore. Let's figure out why and see if we can help bring it to market. So to answer that question, Tom Maloney, stand please, our Director of Conservation Science, and I decided to really start probing the literature. And we published today a paper that is called A Synthetic Alternative. And when I probed this question with numerous people in the industry, why isn't it being adopted? They gave lots of different reasons. some of them seem sort of spurious. Oh, it must be pricing, it must be economics. It must be because there's just one supplier. We as pharmaceutical companies don't want to be beholden to just one supplier under an exclusivity. Well, fast forward, in 2018, those patents have expired. And pricing, according to High Gloss, and we have a representative of High Gloss. Dina, where are you? There you are in back from High Gloss, from BioMérieux in Europe. We have somebody from Lonza, Alan Bergensen, who's been I know, a champion of protecting the horseshoe crabs and the shorebirds, representing Lonza, which actually partakes in the LAL, the horseshoe crab blood industry, as well as a provider of RFC. And more companies are coming to market. And so we realized, well, pricing and distribution can't be a go-forward issue. So what really is the issue? Is it efficacy or is it regulatory? And it turns out it's a little bit about both. Well, with these gentlemen here and 10 other studies showing and demonstrating the importance of the efficacy, it turns out that RFC is not only equal to the horseshoe crab blood, it's better in some situations.
So Eli Lilly, like many other pharmaceutical manufacturers, is committed to reducing the use of animals in research and quality control testing when possible. Recombinant factor C, of course, is a non-animal sourced test reagent. It's a replacement for LAL, which is clearly an animal source reagent. It's used to detect bacterial byproducts that are harmful to humans, and the horseshoe crab blood has protected human health for over 30 years. We chose to do this. It was a harder route to go down this way, but we chose to do it because I think clearly it will benefit Eli Lilly in at least 4 different ways. So clearly there's an ethical benefit. It aligns with our corporate principle on the 3 R's. From a quality perspective, it's a recombinant product, so it's manufactured more consistently. It's less resistant to what we call false positives that the LAL is subject to. So from a quality perspective, we think that will help us, and ultimately that's going to drive manufacturing efficiency. We got into this, very simply for supply chain securities. And then finally, my 4th reason we were doing this is simply cost. It's a win-win for us, right? To get a green method that costs less. It's kind of it's a really compelling case for us. What I'm proud to announce is in 2016 we drew a line in the sand. So we said everything after that line we would develop using RFC. And we've applied for our first product. It's called galcanezumab. It's for migraine prevention. If approved, it will be the first product on the market to be tested with RFC, and that'll be a significant. The second good news we have is that last month, right about this time, April 4th, we went live with RFC testing at our 2 biggest manufacturing sites in Indianapolis for water testing, which does constitute a huge portion of that 90% number that Ryan quoted. I've been well aware of this issue. It's been a hard road to proactively implement a change in a corporation.
So again, I want to provide the context. In and of itself, switching from the horseshoe crab blood to the synthetic is not going to save the shorebirds. It's when all of this work is being done in concert.
It is clear to me that both people and nature will win through the leadership presented by Eli Lilly in replacing the need to harvest horseshoe crabs for biomedical use. And I thank them for their corporate leadership and influence on this issue. It's a real treat to witness the Red Knot stopover along the shores of the Delaware Bay during their remarkable 10,000-mile migration. And through the efforts of Eli Lilly, this is an annual event we can ensure will happen for generations to come. Thanks for being here today.